The moment I opened my eyes, I saw the familiar brocade bed curtains. Embroidered on the curtains was a pattern of mandarin ducks playing in water. The stitches were fine and dense, the workmanship exquisite. These were the bed curtains from my dowry from my family when I married into the Lu residence. I remember very clearly the night before I got married. My mother held my hand and said, "Qing Yao, Mother picked out these bed curtains for you with her own hands. May you and your husband live in harmony and grow old together." Now, looking at this bed curtain, I just find it utterly ironic. "Miss, it is time to get up." The voice of my personal maid, Chu Yue, rang in my ear, filled with unconcealable joy. Today's a truly happy day. The master did great work repairing the river, so the emperor has granted him the title of Marquis. The whole estate is buzzing with excitement. I shot upright, my heart pounding furiously. Chu Yue was startled by my action, and hurriedly came forward to support me. "Miss, what is wrong? Are you not feeling well?" I stared hard at her. This face was much younger than in my memory. Chu Yue was only 16 this year, still a naive little lass, her eyes full of innocence, whereas the Chu Yue in my memory was already 23 before I died, and had long since been sent out of the manor by me to be married. I reached out a trembling hand to touch my face. The skin was delicate and smooth, without the haggard marks left by those later years. I was reborn. Reborn 6 years ago, reborn on the very day Lu Jingchuan was ennobled as Marquis Ningyuan for his merits in river repairs. Reborn on the very day he was to take his deceased elder brother's widow, Lady Fang, as his co-equal wife. On this day in my previous life, Lu Jingchuan came back from the palace, and with a joyous look on his face, told me that His Majesty had graciously permitted him to marry my elder brother's widow, Lady Fang, as a co-equal wife. He said this was to take care of his brother and sister-in-law, that it was his responsibility as a younger brother. He even said that he hoped I, as the official wife, would be more magnanimous and treat Lady Fang well. At that time, I was rendered speechless by his words. I thought about the deep bond he had with his elder brother. His elder brother died young, leaving behind Lady Fang and a pair of children, so it was only right for him as a younger brother to look after his sister-in-law. Besides, he said it was just to give Lady Fang a title, to give her someone to rely on in the manor, and that he wouldn't truly treat her as a wife. I believed him. And the result, the very night Lady Fang entered the manor, he spent the night in her courtyard. For the next 6 years, he doted on Lady Fang in every possible way, while I, the official wife, gradually became a mere decoration in the manor. Lady Fang bore him 2 sons, while my belly remained quiet. Everyone in the manor, from top to bottom, said I was a hen that couldn't lay eggs. Lu Jingchuan also grew increasingly cold, even saying in front of the servants that if it weren't for the gratitude he owed my father, he would have long since divorced me and remarried. My father, Gu Yuanqing, is the current vice minister of the Ministry of Revenue. Back then, he was the one who single-handedly promoted Lu Jingchuan, helping this distant nephew rise from a poor scholar to his current position. But in the end, I, the wife, wasn't even as good as a dog in the manor. In the end, I was poisoned to death by Fang Shi. She had been putting poison in my tonics for a long time, making my body grow weaker day by day, until I finally died on my sickbed. Lu Jingchuan handled even the funeral carelessly, and in less than a year he made Fang Shi the official wife. And now, heaven has given me a chance to start over. "Miss?" Chu Yue looked at me worriedly. "Your complexion looks terrible. I'll go get a doctor right now." "No need." I took a deep breath, my voice calm. "I am fine. Where is Master?" "The Master went to the palace early this morning to give his thanks, and said he should be back before noon," Chu Yue said with a smile. "I heard His Majesty not only bestowed the title of Marquis, but also rewarded him with 1,000 taels of gold. Miss, from now on, our residence is a Marquis's mansion." "A reward of 1,000 gold pieces." I let out a cold laugh. In my past life, most of this 1,000 gold went into Madame Fang's courtyard, to buy her all sorts of precious jewelry and decorative pieces, while my monthly allowance was instead skimmed by the managing mama, saying the manor's expenses were high and we had to be frugal, prepare water. I want to bathe and change my clothes. I threw back the covers and got out of bed. Go to the accounting office and fetch 1,000 taels of silver, and also bring the keys to the storehouse. Chu Yue was stunned. "Miss, What are you doing with so much silver? And the storeroom key, hasn't that always been in your hands? I looked at her, my tone leaving no room for doubt. Do as I say. Chuya was intimidated by my presence and hurriedly complied and left. I sat down before the bronze mirror, carefully examining myself in the reflection. A 20-year-old face, bright and beautiful, with features as fine as a painting. This was the face that Lu Jingchuan praised endlessly on our wedding night, saying that marrying me was his good fortune. But what happened later? He looked at this face and only found it an eyesore. The sound of magpies came from outside the window. I coldly curled the corner of my mouth. In my past life, I lived a pathetic life, always thinking of him, always giving in. And what did I get in return in the end? His cold treatment, Mistress Fang's relentless pressure, and a cup of poisoned wine. In this life, I will live for myself. Number Chapter 2, Taking Back Control. Chuya quickly returned, followed by Steward Qian from the accounting office. Steward Qian bowed and said, "Young miss, what do you need so much silver for? The master instructed before he left that the manor is preparing for a joyous occasion, and money is needed everywhere, so we can't casually draw from the treasury." A joyous occasion. I took the teacup Chuya handed me, and took a light sip. "What joyous occasion?" Steward Qian said with an apologetic smile. "You must be joking, young miss. It is naturally the joyous occasion of the master taking a co-wife. The master said to tidy up the east courtyard, decorate it to the standard of a principal wife, and hold a banquet to entertain guests. These are all major expenses." The teacup in my hand nearly fell to the floor. In my past life, I also found out about this today, and at that time, I was so angry I trembled all over. But Lu Jingchuan's single sentence, "My elder brother and sister-in-law are pitiful. As their younger brother, I must fulfill my filial duty," left me speechless. I still remember that day I went to my mother in tears. Mother was also furious, but father said, "Qing Yao, you must consider the bigger picture. Lu Jingchuan is now a favorite of His Majesty, and since he says it is for the sake of filial piety, if you make a scene, it will instead make you seem petty and unvirtuous. Just endure it for a while. Men are all about a fleeting novelty. It'll get better after some time." I listened to my father's words and endured it. I endured it until I lost my very life. Manager Qian. I put down my teacup and looked at him. "You said the arrangements are to be made according to the standards for a primary wife." "Yes, the master personally instructed it." Manager Qian nodded. "Not only that, but also, who is the primary wife?" I interrupted him, my voice as cold as ice. Manager Qian was taken aback and stammered, "Naturally, it is you, young mistress. Since I am the primary wife, the keys to this estate's storeroom should rightfully be in my hands, and the account books should also be reviewed by me." I stood up, looking down on him from above. "You, a mere manager, on what authority do you privately use the treasury funds? Could it be that you are the one in charge of this marquise's estate?" Manager Qian's expression changed, and he dropped to his knees with a thud. "Young mistress, please forgive me. This humble one was also following the master's orders. I wouldn't dare to act on my own authority." "The master's orders?" I sneered. "How much silver did the master order you to use? Are there any account books to check? Or are you saying that you all are taking advantage of the master being enfiofed as a marquis to use public office for private gain, and stuff the Lu estate's silver into your own pockets?" Manager Qian's forehead was beaded with sweat, as he kowtowed repeatedly. "Please understand, miss. This lowly one absolutely had no such intention. This lowly one will bring the account books right away for miss to look over. That won't be necessary." I waved my hand. "From today onwards, all expenses in the mansion must have my approval before being used. As for the decoration of the east courtyard, stop everything." Manager Qian raised his head, his face full of panic. "But the master, as for the master, I will be the one to deal with him," I said lightly. "You just follow my orders. If anything happens, I'll take responsibility. Now, prepare 1,000 taels of silver for me, and also bring me the keys to the storeroom." Manager Qian didn't dare to say more and retreated submissively. Chuya came to my side and whispered, "Miss, with you acting like this, won't the master be angry when he returns?" "He will. In my past life I complied with his every wish, yet he still treated me with cold indifference. In this life, if I go against his wishes, he will surely fly into a rage. but I don't care anymore. If he gets angry, then let him be angry. I gave a small laugh. That smile was bright and beautiful in the mirror, but it carried a hint of coldness. If he is unwilling to treat me well, then I don't need to stay in this Marquise's mansion and suffer. Kyuu's mouth fell open, obviously stunned by my words in this era. For a woman to get a divorce was simply unthinkable. She would be scorned and gossiped about by everyone. But I knew that compared to being slowly tormented to death while staying with a man who betrayed me, divorce was, on the contrary, the best choice. What is more, I had bargaining chips in my hand. My dowry was a genuine 50,000 taels of silver, plus 4 shops, 2 manors, and a hot spring villa outside the city. In my past life, all these things were borrowed by Lu Jingchuan for investment, and in the end, not a single penny was left. Steward Qian quickly brought the silver and the keys. I took the keys, told Chuyue to put away the silver, and then got up to walk out. "Miss, where are you going?" Chuyue hurriedly followed. "The storeroom," I said, without turning my head, "to see how much of my dowry is left." Number Chapter 3. Returning to her maiden home, the Marquis of Ningyuan's residence was originally just an ordinary house. It was renovated and expanded using the silver from my dowry after I married into the family. The storeroom is in the back courtyard. It was built specifically to store my dowry. Pushing open the storeroom door, inside were all kinds of chests and trunks, neatly arranged. I opened and inspected them one by one. Fortunately, this is the first day of my rebirth, and Lu Jingchuan hasn't had a chance to touch these things yet. Those 4 shops too were in the capital's busiest East Market, one in the West Market, and another by the canal docks. The monthly income from each was considerable. Those 2 manors, one grew grain, the other grew mulberry trees to raise silkworms. Both were prime farmlands. In my past life, these properties were all taken by Lu Jingchuan in the name of business cash flow. He said he was borrowing them, but later, all these properties were registered under Lady Fang's name, becoming her private property. I questioned him at the time, but he said, "You are just a woman. What do you need these properties for? Leaving them with Lady Fang is also for the good of the Marquise's estate. Besides, in all these years, what part of your food, clothing, and expenses hasn't been covered by the estate? Why are you suddenly being so calculative about it? A married woman isn't fit to own her own property, but that Mrs. Fang is also a married woman. So by what right can she justifiably possess my dowry?" I carefully took inventory in the storeroom, and I remember all the accounts very clearly. This is the dowry my mother prepared back in the day. Every single item embodies my mother's love and expectations for me. Chuyue. I closed the last chest. "Go call the mansion's coachman over. I am going out." "Where are you going, miss?" Chuyue asked. "The Gu family." "The Gu family is my parents' home. My father, Gu Yuanqing, is the vice minister of the Ministry of Revenue and holds considerable prestige in the imperial court. My mother, from the Wens, comes from the Wen family, the wealthiest in Jiangnan, her disposition gentle and graceful, yet not without shrewdness. I also have 2 older brothers. My eldest brother, Gu Jinyan, serves in the Hanlin Academy, and my second older brother, Gu Jinshu, is in the Ministry of War. The strength of the Gu family is by no means something a newly promoted marquise can compare to. In my past life, I was too stupid. I had my family's support to rely on but didn't know how to use it. I was always considerate of Lu Jingchuan, afraid he would think I was using my power to bully him. And what happened? He just thought I was weak and easy to bully, and took my kindness for granted. In this life, I am going to let him know that a daughter of the Jiu family isn't someone just anyone can bully. The carriage stopped in front of the Jiu manor. The young gatekeeper recognized me and hurried inside to announce my arrival. Before long, Mother sent someone to bring me in. "Qingyao?" Mother's face was full of surprise when she saw me. "Why are you back at this hour? Isn't Jingchuan being made a marquise today? Why aren't you preparing at your residence? What are you doing running back here?" I looked at my mother, and my eyes suddenly grew hot. In my past life, when I died, Mother had already passed away from illness 2 years prior. Before she died, she was still holding my hand, saying, "Qingyao, Mother has wronged you, marrying you to that heartless beast, Lu Jingchuan. If Mother could live a few more years, I would definitely have your father bring you back home." Even living as a widow in our maternal home would be better than being mistreated in the Marquise's manner. Unfortunately, she didn't live to see that day. Mother. I threw myself into my mother's arms, tears instantly pouring out. I missed you. Mother was stunned for a moment. Then she hugged me, patting my back gently. Silly child. It has only been a few days since we last saw each other. Why are you crying? Were you wronged at the Marquise's manor? I sobbed and nodded, telling her about Lu Jingchuan wanting to take Lady Fang as a wife of equal rank. The color drained from Mother's face. She shot to her feet and said angrily, "What? He wants to take his sister-in-law as a wife of equal rank. Thursday, this is utterly improper. Does he have any regard for you, his principal wife?" Mother, I don't want him anymore. I wiped away my tears, looked at my mother, and said, word by word, I want a divorce. Mother was stunned and only came back to her senses after a long moment. Qingyao, do you know what you are saying? A divorce is no child's play. If you get a divorce, how will you be able to face anyone in the future? It is better than being angered to death staying with a man who doesn't have me in his heart, I said calmly. Mom, I know what you are worried about. You are just afraid that my reputation will be bad after I get a divorce, and it'll be hard for me to remarry. But just think, I am only 20 now. I still have a lot of time ahead of me. Why should I ruin the rest of my life for a man who isn't worth it? Mother opened her mouth wanting to say something, but then didn't know what to say. What is more, it is not like I have to remarry, I continued. I have my own dowry, enough for me to live comfortably. If worse comes to worst, I'll just go back to the GU family home to live with my mom and dad. It is not like I'll starve to death, am I? Mother fell silent. She looked at me, her eyes full of heartache. Qingyao, did you suffer a great grievance at the Marquise's mansion? You weren't like this before. You used to always say you wanted to support your husband and raise your children, to be a good wife and loving mother. How come now? Yeah, I really did think that way before. I held my mother's hand. I thought that as long as I was good enough, gentle and virtuous enough, I could hold on to a man's heart, but reality slapped me hard in the face and made me realize, some men are just ungrateful wolves you can never tame, Mom. I've figured it out. Rather than holding on to a dead marriage, it is better to get out early, even if outsiders gossip. So what? I can't control other people's mouths, but my life, I want to be in charge of it myself. Mother looked at me, her eyes gradually turning red. She sighed and pulled me into her arms. Forget it. Mom will go along with you. When your father and brothers come back, Mom will discuss it with them, but this matter needs careful consideration, so don't be anxious yet. Thanks, Mom. I leaned on my mother's shoulder, feeling much more at ease. With my family backing me up, I am not afraid of Lu Jingchuan turning hostile. Number Chapter 4. Divorce agreement in the evening. Father and my 2 older brothers all came back. Hearing that I wanted a divorce, my eldest brother, Gu Jinyan, slammed the table on the spot. How outrageous. That Lu Jingchuan, that ungrateful bastard, if father hadn't promoted him back then, he'd still be farming in the countryside right now. Now look at him. He has been made a marquis, and his wings have hardened. He actually dares to take his elder brother's wife as a concubine. This is a blatant slap in the face to our GU family. Second brother Gu Jinshu also said with a cold face, Big brother is right, this matter absolutely can't be just left like this. Since Lu Jingquan was ruthless, don't blame us for being unjust. Father, however, had a stern face and said nothing. I knew what father was worried about. Although Lu Jingquan is ungrateful, he is, after all, a favorite of the emperor now. If father were to have a falling out with Lu Jingquan for me, his daughter, his political rivals in the court would definitely seize the chance to make trouble, saying he is using his position for personal revenge and getting rid of opponents. Father, I walked over to father and knelt down. Your daughter knows of your difficulties, but your daughter really does not want to go back to that Marquise's manor anymore. Your daughter doesn't ask for father to stand up for me. I only ask for father to permit me to divorce and let me return to the GU family to live a quiet life. Father looked at me, his gaze complicated. After a long moment, he reached out his hand to help me up. Qingyao, have you really thought this through? A divorce is no small matter, and in the future your reputation. Your daughter doesn't care about reputation. I interrupted father, stating firmly, Your daughter only cares about whether she is truly happy or not. Father sighed and finally nodded. So be it, since your mind is made up. I, as your father, won't stop you. However, you can't get this divorce for nothing. Your dowry must be returned, not one item missing. Also, Lu Jingchuan bullied you first, so he must give us an explanation. Father is right. Big brother stood up. I'll handle this. Tomorrow, I'll go find Lu Jingchuan and let him know that a daughter of our Gu family is not someone he can bully just as he pleases. Mother also said, I prepared Qingyao's dowry piece by piece. All those properties have deeds. Lu Jingchuan can't deny it, even if he wants to. Tomorrow, I'll send people to get those deeds back, and while they're at it, move all of Qingyao's things back to the Gu family home, watching my father, mother, and brothers plan for me. A warm feeling welled up in my heart. This is family. They will always stand on my side and have my back, no matter what. Early the next morning, I went back to the Marquise's mansion with my eldest brother. Just as we reached the mansion's entrance, I saw Lu Jingchuan standing there, his face terrifyingly gloomy. Beside him stood a woman dressed in plain clothes. It was precisely Fang Shifang. She had a gentle face, and at this moment, her head was bowed, looking pitiful and helpless. Seeing us, Lu Jingchuan strode over quickly and demanded right away, Gu Qingyao, you took the storeroom keys yesterday and had someone stop the renovations in the eastern courtyard. What exactly are you trying to do? What am I trying to do? I sneered. Lu Jingchuan, for something as big as taking a concubine, why didn't you first ask me, your primary wife, if I agree? Lu Jingchuan's expression changed. What do you mean, taking a concubine? Fang Shi is my sister-in-law. I am marrying her to fulfill my filial duty. How did it become taking a concubine when you say it? Fulfill your filial duty. My eldest brother snorted coldly. Lu Jingchuan, do you take us from the Jiyu family for fools? Marrying your sister-in-law? You call that fulfilling your filial duty? I think you've lost your mind to lust. Lord Gu. Lu Jingchuan's face flushed red. What do you mean by that? Could it be that you think I, Lu Jingchuan, am that kind of scoundrel who lusts after beautiful women? Aren't you? Big brother said coldly. I am here today about my sister Lu Jingchuan. Since you are going to marry another woman, then there is no need for my sister to stay in your Marquise's mansion and suffer. Today I am taking her to get a divorce. A divorce. Lu Jingchuan was stunned, then he looked at me. Gu Qingyao, is this what you want? That is right. I raised my head, looking directly into his eyes. Lu Jingchuan, you want to marry another woman, I won't stop you. But likewise, I won't stay in the Marquise's mansion as a decoration. Let's part amicably. From now on you go your way, and I'll go mine. Lu Jingchuan's expression changed again and again, and in the end, he actually laughed out loud. Good, very good, Gu Qingyao. You are really something. I worked my fingers to the bone for 3 years building the river dikes. Finally earned the title of Marquis with great difficulty, and you can't wait to divorce me. Did you look down on me, your husband from a poor scholar's background, from the very beginning? And now that I have a title, you think it is the perfect time to kick me aside and find someone better? I was so angry at his words that I laughed. Lu Jingchuan, you have the nerve to say that. For these 3 years while you were out building the river dikes, I was in the mansion managing the household and taking care of the old madam. Which of these things wasn't I doing? Go on and tell me, how have I wronged you? There are so many ways you've wronged me, Lu Jingchuan said through gritted teeth. I am out there working myself to death, but you at home can't even give birth to a child. I've been married to you for 3 years, and there has been no movement from your belly at all. How am I supposed to hold my head up high outside? You blame me for not being able to have a child? I sneered. Lu Jingchuan, having a baby is a matter for 2 people. Why is it all my fault? Lu Jingchuan was choked speechless by me and couldn't say a word for a long time. At this moment, Fang Shi suddenly spoke up. Her voice was gentle and tactful, but every word was heart-piercing. Sister, you've misunderstood. The second master married me, really just to take care of me and the 2 children. I've seen all the affection he has for you. If you are angry because of this, you can just take it out on me. Why must you get a divorce, sister? She actually called me sister. I looked her up and down, a sarcastic smile curling my lips. Lady Fang, get your own status straight. I am the main wife of this Marquise's manor. You are just a widow, and you dare call me sister before you've even entered the door. Who gave you the nerve? Lady Fang's face turned pale, and tears instantly fell. Sister, that is not what I meant. Don't call me sister. I cut her off, saying coldly, you are not worthy. When Lu Jingchuan saw Madame Fang crying, his heart ached for her so much that he pointed at me and said angrily, Gu Qingyao, you've gone too far. Madame Fang is your sister-in-law after all. How can you talk like that? Sister-in-law? I laughed out loud. Lu Jingchuan, if you really treated her as your sister-in-law, you should have given her a sum of money and let her take the child to live somewhere else, instead of marrying her and having her share a bed with you. You say you are doing this to fulfill your filial duty, but go ask the neighbors. Which family fulfills their filial duty this way? Lu Jingchuan was rendered speechless by what I said, and only after a long while did he say with a flushed face, Anyway, I don't agree to a divorce. You are my properly wedded wife, so you must stay in the Marquise's manor for your entire life. You don't agree? Big Brother sneered, pulling out a divorce agreement from his chest. Then don't blame us for being impolite. Lu Jingchuan, you humiliated my younger sister first. So if you don't agree to the divorce, I'll take this matter to the Ministry of Rights, have the officials there pass judgment, and see if you taking your sister-in-law as a wife is in accordance with the law and rights. Lu Jingchuan's expression changed drastically. He was at the height of his popularity right now. If someone were to grab hold of this weakness, saying he didn't abide by the rules of propriety by taking his sister-in-law as a wife, he feared that not only would he be unable to keep his noble title, he would also be despised by His Majesty. You guys are threatening me, Lu Jingchuan said through gritted teeth. That is right, we are threatening you. Eldest brother made no attempt to hide it. Lu Jingchuan, if you know what is good for you, sign this divorce paper and return my sister's dowry without a single thing missing. Otherwise, if this matter blows up, it won't do you any good at all. Lu Jingchuan clenched his fists, his face alternating between pale and livid. He looked at me, his eyes full of resentment. Gu Qingyao, do you really have to take it this far? Aren't you afraid of ruining me? Ruin you? I found it laughable. Lu Jingchuan, you are the one ruining yourself. What does it have to do with me? If you had treated me well and not had those filthy thoughts, how would things have come to this today? Lu Jingchuan stared hard at me. After a long moment, he suddenly laughed, a sinister laugh. Good, very good. Gu Qingyao, you think you can live a good life after the divorce? I am telling you, it is not that easy. I took your dowry to do business long ago. Where would I get it from now? I had long expected him to say this, so I wasn't flustered at all. Do business? Then why don't you bring out the account books for a look? Let's see what business you actually did with my dowry, and how much money you made. Or is it that you didn't do any business at all, and just used my dowry to support that woman Fang, buying her jewelry and rouge? Lu Jingchuan's face stiffened. Lu Jingchuan, do you really take me for a fool? I sneered. The deeds for my 4 shops, 2 manors, and the hot spring villa are all in my hands. If you dare to go back on your word and not return them, I'll go to the authorities and sue you for misappropriating your wife's dowry. You dare, Lu Jingchuan roared. If you dare go to the authorities, I'll what? Big Brother coldly cut him off. Lu Jingchuan, don't think you can do whatever you want just because you've been made a marquis. This world is still a place where reason matters. If you don't want to be utterly disgraced, you'd better obediently sign the divorce agreement and return my sister's dowry. Lu Jingchuan trembled all over with anger, yet there was nothing he could do. In the end, he snatched the divorce agreement, gritted his teeth and signed it, and threw it fiercely onto the ground. Fine, the Guiyu family is capable. I can't afford to mess with you. I've signed this divorce agreement, and I'll return the dowry. Gu Qingyao, from this day forward, you and I have nothing to do with each other. I bent down and picked up the divorce agreement, looked at it carefully, and after confirming there were no issues, I tucked it into my bosom. Thank you for making this happen. I gave a small curtsy, my tone as calm as if I were speaking of some trivial matter. From now on, you walk your sunny path, and I'll cross my single plank bridge. Lu Jingchuan, we shall never meet again. After saying that, I turned and left, without looking back. Number. Chapter 5. Reclaiming the dowry. The divorce agreement was signed, and the next step was getting the dowry back. Logically speaking, since Lu Jingchuan had signed the divorce agreement, he should have returned the dowry in full. But he clearly didn't want to let it go so readily, and made things difficult in every possible way regarding the dowry. Those 4 shops, he said he has already sold them and can't produce them. Those 2 manors, he said he has mortgaged them to someone else and can't redeem them for a while. As for the hot spring villa, he said it is currently under renovation and can't be handed over immediately. In short, it just means one thing: he can't produce my dowry right now and wants me to wait. Of course I won't wait, Lu Jingchuan. Since you can't produce the dowry, then convert it into silver and give it to me. I sat in the main hall of the Marquise's residence, my tone calm. 4 shops, each calculated at the market price of 3,000 taels, totaling 12,000 taels. 2 manors, 5,000 taels each, totaling 10,000 taels. The hot spring villa, 8,000 taels, adding up to 30,000 taels. You give me the silver, and I'll leave immediately. Lu Jingchuan's face turned livid. 30,000 taels. Gu Qingyao, why don't you just go rob someone? Am I robbing you? I sneered. These properties cost this much when they were originally purchased. If you think it is expensive, you can return the properties to me, and I won't take the silver. Lu Jingchuan was choked speechless by me. Those properties are all under his name now, so of course he was reluctant to return them to me. But 30,000 taels of silver is not a small sum, and he couldn't produce it on short notice. Gu Qingyao, don't push it too far, Lu Jingchuan said through gritted teeth. I really don't have 30,000 taels of silver right now. You have to give me some time to raise the money. Raise money? I scoffed. Lu Jingchuan, you were just made a marquis. His Majesty rewarded you with 1,000 taels of gold, and you are telling me you have no money. Besides, you are taking in Lady Fang as a concubine, buying her jewelry and clothes, renovating the east courtyard. Don't all these things cost money? How come when it is time to return my dowry, you suddenly have no money? Lu Jingchuan was left speechless by my words. At this moment, the old madam, who had been sitting by the side all along, suddenly spoke up. That is enough, Qingyao. You are being too insensible. Jingchuan has just been made a marquis. This is a crucial time. How can you make a fuss about divorce at a critical juncture like this? If word gets out, what will others think of our marquise's manner? The old madam was Lu Jingchuan's grandmother, and back when Lu Jingchuan went to the capital for the imperial examination, it was she who scraped together his travel expenses at home. Lu Jingchuan was extremely filial to her, and in my past life I had always been very respectful towards her, but now I only found it ironic. In my past life, it was this very old madam who was constantly whispering in Lu Jingchuan's ear, saying my inability to bear children was karmic retribution, saying that I brought bad luck to my husband and sons. She also said that Lady Fang was virtuous and sensible, a good person, and that it was Lu Jingchuan's good fortune to marry her. Under the old madam's instigation, Lu Jingchuan became increasingly cold towards me and doted on Lady Fang more and more. Old madam. I stood up, my tone respectful yet distant. The divorce was agreed to by Lu Jingchuan. The divorce agreement has his signature and thumbprint. Now I am just taking back what is mine. It can hardly be called making a scene. As for the reputation of the Marquise's estate, you should go ask your grandson why he wants to take his sister-in-law as a concubine, as that is what truly damages the reputation of the Marquise's estate. The old madam's expression changed. What are you talking about? Jingchuan married Lady Fang to take care of his brother and sister-in-law. That is filial piety. How come in your words it becomes a shameful matter? Filial piety? I laughed. Old madam, you've lived for so long. Have you ever seen a family's filial piety that involves marrying one's sister-in-law and sharing a bed with her? If this is filial piety, then there must be countless filial sons and grandsons in the world. How dare you? The old madam trembled with rage, pointing at me and cursing. You shameless hussy. No wonder you can't give birth. Turns out you are just black-hearted. Our Lu family must have had 8 lifetimes of bad luck to marry you. I listened to her curses, feeling no ripples in my heart. She had cursed me the same way in my past life, and I cried my eyes out back then, feeling incredibly wronged. But thinking about it now, it is really ridiculous. Why should I care what a biased old woman thinks of me? Old madam, if you want to curse me, go ahead, I said calmly. Anyway, I've already divorced. I am not part of your Lu family anymore. Your curses can't affect me one bit, but I came today to get my dowry back. If Lu Jingchuan can't produce it, I'll have no choice but to report it to the authorities." "Report to the authorities?" The old madam sneered. "You dare? If you dare report to the authorities, you'll do what?" I looked at her, without a trace of fear in my eyes. "Ram your head and kill yourself in front of me, to frame me with the crime of disrespecting an elder." "Old madam, go ahead and ram it. I guarantee I won't even blink." The old madam's eyes widened, clearly not expecting me to say something like that. She opened and closed her mouth, and finally got so angry her eyes rolled back, and she fainted. Lu Jingtuan turned pale with shock, hurriedly catching the old madam, and roared at me. "Gu Qingyao, are you satisfied now? You vicious woman, vicious woman," I scoffed. "Lu Jingchuan, the real vicious woman isn't me. It is that precious sister-in-law of yours, but you'll find all that out later. Right now, I just want my dowry. If you can't produce 30,000 taels of silver within 3 days, I'll go to the Jingzhou prefecture to sue you." After I finished speaking, I turned and left. Behind me came Lu back at the Giyu home. Mother was waiting for me. Seeing me return, she quickly came up to greet me. "Qingyao, how did it go? Did that Lu Jingchuan agree to return the dowry? He said he has no money and told me to wait." I told her everything that happened today, but I gave him 3 days. If he can't produce the silver in 3 days, I am going to sue him. Mother nodded. "You did the right thing. A person like Lu Jingchuan just needs to be taught a lesson. Don't worry, Mom has your back on this. If he dares to go back on his word, I'll go to your father and have your father impeach him at court." I held my mother's hand, my heart feeling warm. "Thank you, Mom." "Silly child, why are you being so polite with your mother?" Mother patted my hand. "Oh right, your big brother said that among his colleagues at the Hanlin Academy, someone knows the Jingzhou prefect. When the time comes, if you really have to file a complaint, have him help put in a word to ensure the Jingzhou prefect will handle it impartially." I nodded. With my maternal family's support, I am not afraid of anything. For the next 3 days, Lu Jingchuan indeed went everywhere to raise money. He first tried to borrow from a few colleagues in the imperial court, but everyone claimed they were short on cash and couldn't lend him any. He then thought about borrowing from a money house, but the money house required collateral, and he had nothing to use as collateral. In the end, he could only sell those 4 shops and 2 manors, barely scraping together 30,000 taels of silver. On the afternoon of the 3rd day, Lu Jingchuan had someone deliver the silver to the Jiyu family. I counted it in person, and only after confirming there were no mistakes did I sign the receipt. "Tell your master, I've received the silver," I said to the steward who came to deliver the silver. "From now on, he and I are quits." Number Chapter 6. Rumors and gossip. The news of the divorce quickly spread throughout the capital city. As expected, there was a lot of talk about me outside. Some said I didn't abide by a woman's virtues, divorcing my husband right after he was made a marquis, which was clearly a case of despising poverty and loving wealth. Some said I was infertile and deserved to be divorced. Still others said I was angered by Lu Jingchuan taking a concubine, and was being too petty. When this gossip reached my ears, I didn't care at all. In my previous life, I cared too much about what others thought, living cautiously and timidly, but in the end, I was still treated as a joke. In this life, I just want to live to the fullest, but what surprised me was that quite a few people actually took my side. When some young ladies from noble families gathered to discuss, someone said, "I actually think the eldest Miss Gu did the right thing. Lu Jingchuan taking his brother's widow as a concubine. What kind of decency is that? Rather than suffering while staying with a man like that, it is better for Miss Gu to get a divorce and be free." Someone else said, "Isn't that right? It is not like the Giyu family can't support their daughter. She has a dowry and a family fortune. She doesn't have to worry about food or clothing. Why should she have to live according to a man's moods? If I were her, I'd get a divorce too." When these words reached my ears, it made my heart feel warm. It seems that although this world is harsh towards women, not everyone is old-fashioned and conservative. On Lu Jingchuan's side, however, things weren't going so well. For taking Lady Fang as an equal wife, he was impeached by a censor from the Ministry of Rights, who said he was not abiding by the rights, and was a disgrace to the scholarly class. Although the emperor did not punish him on account of his meritorious service with the river works, he did issue a verbal edict telling him to act cautiously in the future and not to damage the prestige of the imperial court. This verbal edict was basically a wake-up call for Lu Jingchuan if he were to act recklessly again. He probably wouldn't even be able to keep his noble title. After hearing about this, Lu Jingchuan flew into a rage in his residence and gave Miss Fang a hell of a scolding. Miss Fang, crying and wailing, said she was innocent, that she had never thought of marrying Lu Jingchuan, and it was all Lu Jingchuan's one-sided wishful thinking. Lu Jingchuan was thoroughly pissed off by her, yet he couldn't bear to actually do anything to her. After all, in his eyes, Miss Fang was the gentle and considerate white moonlight, while I was the unreasonable shrew. When I heard this news, I just found it laughable. Lu Jingchuan and the Fang woman are truly a match made in heaven, both full of wicked schemes. But I don't have time to care whether they live or die. What I need to be busy with now is replanning my own life. Chapter 7. The way of business first was the matter of those 4 shops. To scrape together the money, Lu Jingchuan sold all the shops. Although I got the silver, I still felt it was a pity. Those 4 shops were all in very good locations. The monthly income was considerable, and selling them just like that was truly a loss. "Mom, I want to buy those 4 shops back," I said to my mother. "Right now, Lu Jingchuan is short on cash. Someone will definitely take the opportunity to drive down the price. If I can buy them back at a low price, I'll actually make a profit." Mother thought for a moment, then nodded and said, "You are right, but you can't show up in person for this matter. Otherwise people will gossip, saying you are deliberately making things difficult for Lu Jingchuan. How about this? Have your second brother help, and buy it in his name." I nodded. "That is a good idea." So I went to find my second brother, Gu Jinshu, and told him about this matter. As soon as Gu Jinshu heard, he immediately agreed. "This is simple, I'll go do it right away. That kid Lu Jingchuan doesn't know what is good for him, serves him right to have his price driven down." Sure enough, in just a few days, Gu Jinshu came back with good news. Those 4 shops, he bought them back at 80% of the market price, costing a total of 9,600 taels of silver. Those shops are now registered under my name, but I've kept the deeds for you. Gu Jinshu handed the deeds to me. "From now on, all the income from these shops will be yours." I took the deeds, my heart filled with gratitude. It is so good to have family like this. Next were the 2 manors. Lu Jingchuan had also sold the manors, and I wanted to buy them back too. But this time I didn't have my second brother step in. Instead, I found a reliable middleman and bought the manors back in the name of a merchant from out of town, adding the hot spring villa. My properties were back in my hands. Not only that, because Lu Jingchuan was in a hurry to get money, I actually bought them back at a lower price than before, so I basically made a profit. With these properties, my monthly income is guaranteed. Those 4 shops can bring in 100 taels of silver each month, and the 2 manors can also bring in nearly 2,000 taels a year. This money is enough for me to live very comfortably. However, I wasn't satisfied with this. "Mom, I want to learn how to do business." I said to my mother, "I have silver and properties in my hands. Rather than just sit on them and eat through my savings, I'd rather find a way to earn more money." My mother was a bit surprised. "Qingyao, for a girl like you to show your face in public doing business, isn't that a bit inappropriate?" "Mom, it is not like I am going to personally stand behind the counter at the shops. I'll just be pulling the strings from behind the scenes," I said with a smile. "Besides, I am already divorced and I don't plan to remarry. If I don't earn money myself, am I supposed to expect someone else to support me for the rest of my life?" My mother was silent for a moment, and finally sighed. "Fine then, since you've set your mind on this, Mom will help you. As it happens, your maternal grandparents' family is in business, so I'll write them a letter and have them send an experienced manager to help you." I was overjoyed. "Thank you, Mom." Soon my maternal grandparents' family sent a manager over surnamed Lin, named Lin Fu. Lin Fu was in his 40s, had been a manager for the Wen family for over 20 years, was rich in experience, and was also a shrewd and capable person. "Young mistress, if you have any instructions, please just say so." Lin Fu bowed respectfully upon seeing me. I explained my ideas to him once, and finally asked, "Manager Lin, do you think these ideas of mine are feasible?" After Lin Fu finished listening, He pondered for a moment and said, "Eldest miss, your idea is very good, but there are a few points to be aware of. First, for the shop's business to do well, the key lies in the source of goods and connections. In terms of the source of goods, the Wen family can help. In terms of connections, the GU family can also lend a hand. Second, when doing business, you must be honest and trustworthy, and you can't be unscrupulous just to make money. Third, when the business gets big, it is inevitable that you'll run into trouble, so you need to be prepared in advance." I nodded repeatedly as I listened. What Lin Fu said were all key points. "Steward Lin, I'll have to trouble you with these matters," I said. "I'll give you 1 month's time to sort out the business of these few shops. If you do a good job, I won't treat you unfairly." Lin Fu quickly agreed, and then excused himself to go and prepare. With Lin Fu's help, my business quickly got on the right track. Those 4 shops were originally just ordinary general stores with a monthly income of only about 100 taels. But under Lin Fu's management, he changed the shops into specialty stores selling Jiangnan local products, sourcing high-quality goods from the Wen family side. The prices were fair, and the quality was good, so they quickly attracted many customers. In less than 3 months, each shop's monthly income had risen to 200 taels. I looked at the account books, my heart filled with a sense of accomplishment. Turns out making money can be this simple. However, just as I was immersed in the joy of the booming business, some unexpected news came. Something happened to Lu Jingchuan. Chapter 8, Karmic Retribution. The news that something had happened to Lu Jingchuan was brought back by eldest brother. That night, big brother rushed home, travel-worn, and said as soon as he walked in the door, "Qing Yao, your ex-husband Lu Jingchuan has been reported to the Ministry of Justice." I was stunned. Accusing him of what? Said he embezzled funds for river repairs and misappropriated silver from the national treasury, big brother said. "The Ministry of Justice has already sent people to investigate. I hear the evidence is conclusive. I am afraid Lu Jingchuan is doomed this time." Hearing this news, I had very mixed feelings. In my past life, although Lu Jingchuan wasn't good to me, he was very cautious in his official career and never embezzled or took bribes. How come he got into trouble in this life instead? Could it be because I divorced him and took back my dowry, so he was short on money and decided to take a desperate risk? "Qing Yao, what are you thinking about?" big brother asked with concern, seeing that my expression was off. "It is nothing." I shook my head. "I just didn't expect he would come to this." Big brother snorted coldly. He brought it on himself. "Qing Yao, you don't need to worry about him. A person like him isn't worthy of your pity." I nodded. Big brother was right. Whether Lu Jingchuan lived or died had nothing to do with me. But out of curiosity, I still sent someone to inquire about the specific situation. It turned out that Lu Jingchuan had indeed embezzled a portion of the funds while repairing the river. He used the money for an investment, originally planning to pay it back once the business was established. But unexpectedly, the business failed, and he ended up losing everything. To make matters worse, someone submitted evidence of his corruption to the Ministry of Justice. Upon investigation, the Ministry of Justice found that Lu Jingchuan not only took bribes, but also misappropriated public funds, and the charges were confirmed. In the end, he only had himself to blame. A few days later, the Ministry of Justice sentenced Lu Jingchuan. He was stripped of his title, thrown into the Great Prison, and sentenced to 10 years. The Marquis Ningyuan's mansion was also raided. All the servants were dismissed, leaving only the old madam, Fang Shi, and her son to live in a small, dilapidated courtyard. When I heard this news, I felt not a ripple in my heart. Lu Jingchuan brought this fate upon himself. As for Fang Shi, I heard she cried her eyes out in the mansion, saying it was all my fault. Lu Jingchuan was harmed, and that if I hadn't divorced him and taken my dowry, he wouldn't have resorted to corruption. When these words reached my ears, I just found it laughable. Fang Shi is really good at turning the tables with a false accusation. It was clearly Lu Jingchuan who wanted to take her as a concubine, which is why I divorced him, I said to my mother. Now that something has happened to Lu Jingchuan, she turns around and blames me. Mother snorted coldly. That Fang Shi is no good. Why are you bothering with her? She is like a clay Buddha crossing a river right now. She can't even save herself. I nodded. I couldn't care less about Fang Shi's fate. But what I didn't expect was that Fang Shi would actually come to my door. Chapter 9. An unwelcome guest that afternoon. I was drinking tea in the courtyard when the gatekeeper came to report that a woman calling herself Fang Shi was asking to see me. I was stunned for a moment, then I sneered. Let her in. I'd like to see what she wants to say. After a short while, Madame Fang was brought in by the gatekeeper. She was wearing a set of plain clothes. Her face was haggard, and her hair was a bit messy, completely lacking that glamorous air she had back in the Marquise's mansion. Eldest Miss Gu. The moment Madame Fang saw me, she dropped to her knees with a thud and cried, Please, I beg you, save the second master. He has been wrongly accused. He didn't embezzle. It was someone who framed him. Holding my teacup, I looked at her coldly. Madame Fang, you've come to the wrong place. I have already divorced Lu Jingchuan. His affairs have nothing to do with me. How could it have nothing to do with you? Madame Fang cried even harder. Eldest Miss Gu, the second master only ended up in this situation because of you. When you got divorced, you took away all the dowry. The second master had no money. He had to support the family and also maintain the dignity of the Marquise's mansion, so he had no choice but to borrow public funds. He originally planned to pay it back once his business took off, but who knew the business would fail, and then he got reported. Eldest Miss Gu, this is all your fault. Listening to her words, I just felt it was utterly absurd. Fang Shi, you are really something else. I put down my teacup and said coldly, Lu Jingchuan embezzling public funds, that was his own choice. What does it have to do with me? Besides, what I took was my own dowry. That stuff was mine to begin with, and it is perfectly justified for me to take it back. As for Lu Jingchuan having no money, that is his business. If he had no money, he should have been more frugal, not embezzled public funds. But Fang Shi still wanted to say something, but I cut her off. Fang Shi, don't you cry here for me, I said lightly. I know what kind of person Lu Jingchuan is better than you do. His embezzling public funds was never as simple as needing money to support his family. If you really care about him, you should go find out where he spent all that money. Fang Shi's expression changed, and she stammered, unable to get a word out. I sneered. What, scared to check? Or is it that you already know in your heart? Lady Fang, did you think I didn't know? Most of the money that Lu Jingchuan embezzled went into your pocket. Your jewelry, your clothes, the decorations in your courtyard. Which of them wasn't bought with public funds? Now that Lu Jingchuan's in trouble, you turn around and come to me, asking me to save him. Do you think I am that stupid? Lady Fang's face went completely pale. She opened her mouth, but in the end, couldn't say a word. Mrs. Fang, I'll say it again. Lu Jingchuan's business has nothing to do with me. I stood up looking down at her. If you really want to save him, then go find those people who took his money and have them destroy the evidence. As for me, I can't help you. After saying that, I turned and left, leaving Mrs. Fang kneeling alone in the courtyard. After Mrs. Fang left, I thought the matter was over. But unexpectedly, a few days later, someone else came looking for me this time. It was Lu Jingchuan's mother, also known as the Old Madam. The Old Madam looked much more aged than the last time I saw her. She walked in, trembling, and knelt down the moment she saw me. Qing Yao, this old woman begs you, please save Jingchuan. He is my only grandson. If something happens to him, I don't want to live anymore. I looked at her, my heart not feeling a single ripple. Old Madam, why must you do this? I said lightly. I have already divorced Lu Jingchuan. His business has nothing to do with me. If you want to save him, you should go find those people who took his money, not come looking for me. Qing Yao, this old woman knows I was wrong in the past. This old woman shouldn't have said those things. The Old Madam cried even harder. But Jingchuan was really framed. He has been an honest kid since he was little. How could he possibly embezzle public funds? Someone must have framed him. I sneered. Old Madam, you are really muddled. Don't you have any idea what kind of person Lu Jingchuan is? If he were truly honest, he wouldn't have taken his brother's widow as a concubine while I was still his wife. If he were truly innocent, he wouldn't have embezzled public funds to do business. In the end, he brought this upon himself. You can't blame anyone else. The Old Madam was left speechless by my words, and in the end, could only kowtow non-stop, begging me to help Lu Jingchuan for the sake of our past relationship. I watched her kowtow until her forehead was broken, and finally spoke. Old Madam, please get up. It is not that I am unwilling to help Lu Jingchuan, but I really can't help him. He committed the crime of embezzling public funds. The evidence is conclusive. Even if His Majesty himself were to intervene, he couldn't be saved. Besides, I am just a former wife who has already divorced him. What right do I have to save him? The old madam was stunned, only reacting after a long while. Her lips trembled, wanting to say something, but not a single word came out. She looked at Madame Fang, who was kneeling to the side, and Madame Fang was also so scared that her face was drained of all color. The once illustrious Marquis Ning Yuan's mansion now only had these two women who were like enemies to her, and a few young children. Lu Jingchuan's future was already ruined, and she, as his grandmother, had absolutely no room to salvage the situation. I looked at the old madam's desperate gaze, feeling not a shred of pity. In my past life, her words were like daggers. Feng Shi's poison was lethal, and Lu Jingchuan's indifference pushed me into the abyss. Now, they are merely reaping what they've sown. Old madam, since things have come to this, you should leave. My tone was calm, without a trace of my former deference. From now on, the Giyu family and the Lu family will have nothing to do with each other. Your and Feng Shi's predicament was caused solely by Lu Jingchuan. It has nothing to do with me. Please forgive Qing Yao for being unable to help. Hearing this, the old madam swayed, as if all her strength had been drained. In the end, she couldn't say another word, and just left the Gu manor dejectedly, supported by her maid, her back hunched like a guttering candle in the wind. Feng Shi also rose silently and gave me a deep look, her eyes filled with venomous resentment, yet also mixed with endless regret and fear. She knew she had lost completely, utterly, and miserably. Watching their receding figures, I sighed softly, and the gloom in my heart dissipated along with them. The grudges and entanglements of my past life have been completely settled in this one. I am no longer the Gu Qingyao who was humbled by love and struggled in her marriage. I have lived for myself, taken back my dignity, and taken control of my own destiny. From then on, I put my heart into managing my businesses, and with the help of Steward Lin Fu and my mother's maternal family, business became more and more prosperous. Shops opened from the capital to Jiangnan, restaurants, tea houses, embroidery shops. The businesses under my name grew more and more numerous, and my wealth also accumulated like a snowball. My name was no longer just the daughter of the Vice Minister of Revenue, the ex-wife of the Marquis of Ningyuan, but Gu Qingyao, one of the wealthiest people in the capital, and even Jiangnan. In the Gu family, I accompanied my doting parents and older brother, living peaceful and fulfilling days. Without the entanglement of Lu Jingchuan and the Fangs, without the household infighting and scheming, my life was filled with freedom and hope. I learned to enjoy independence, enjoy the fun of making money, and enjoy the warmth of my family. As for Lu Jingchuan and Feng Shi, their story had long ago become a cautionary tale over tea and after meals in the capital. 10 years of imprisonment was enough to wear away all of Lu Jingchuan's pride and high spirits. And Feng Shi, with her 2 children, in the dilapidated small courtyard, after their home was confiscated, tasted the full extent of the world's fickleness, and the hard days had only just begun. They once thought I was a lamb to be slaughtered at will, but they never imagined that I had already transformed into a phoenix soaring through the heavens, while they would ultimately be mired in the swamp, never to be redeemed.